The glass slipper in Cinderella is not just a symbol of elegance but possibly a deadly trap. While the dress and carriage vanish at midnight, the shoe remains, suggesting it carries a different, darker, and more dangerous magic. What if the shoe wasn't just a luxury item but a bond that ties Cinderella to the spell, with fatal consequences if she fails? Beneath its fragile beauty, the shoe may conceal a terrible price. Midnight, in the story of Cinderella, is more than just a narrative boundary. It is the crucial moment when magic reveals its rules and dangers. Cinderella's desperation to flee before the final chime of the clock does not seem to stem only from a fear of being discovered, but from something much more terrifying. In fairy tales, breaking a magical deadline often results in severe punishments, and this case would be no different. Had Cinderella not left the ballroom in time, the spell might have turned against her. The magic that once beautified her could transform her into something unrecognizable, a crystal statue, trapped forever as a reminder of her disobedience. Another possibility is that she would be consumed by the magic itself, her existence dissolving into the air, like the other elements of the spell. This deadline imposed by the fairy godmother reinforces the ambiguous nature of magic in the tale, something powerful yet ruthless. What appears to be a gift is, in truth, a strict test where the slightest error could come at a high cost. The midnight limit is not a trivial detail. It is a fine line between a dream and destruction. The fairy godmother, often seen as a benevolent figure, may have a more ambiguous role in Cinderella. Her magic, though seemingly a gift, comes with strict conditions that turn the enchantment into a potential mortal test. By setting the midnight limit, she not only offers help but places Cinderella under intense pressure, where even the smallest misstep could have irreversible consequences. In many fairy tales, magical figures act as impartial forces, offering gifts that often hide traps. The fairy godmother does not explain what happens if Cinderella surpasses the deadline. This silence may be intentional, so the spell functions as a test of character and obedience. Even more intriguing is the creation of the shoe, an object that persists beyond the spell. It ensures the prince finds Cinderella, almost as if the fairy godmother had planned every detail to bind the young woman's fate to royalty. This manipulation suggests that the fairy godmother is not merely helping, but also controlling the course of events, making her a less altruistic figure than she seems. The glass slipper in Cinderella shares traits with other magical objects found in fairy tales, many of which carry as much power as danger. These items often have an intriguing duality. They offer great opportunities but always with hidden conditions that can lead to disaster for those who fail to comply with the rules. A classic example is the ring from The Lord of the Rings, which grants unparalleled power but corrupts its bearer. Like the glass slipper, it seems to control the fate of those who use it, shaping events around them while maintaining a magical connection to its owner. Another parallel can be found in the enchanted rose from Beauty and the Beast. The rose marks the time for the beast's transformation and symbolizes the fine line between redemption and condemnation, much like the shoe marks the time Cinderella has to escape before the spell ends. An even darker example is the red shoes in Andersen's tales, which force their wearer to dance incessantly until punished or mutilated. These shoes, like the glass slipper, represent the obsession with luxury and perfection, but with terrible consequences. The connection with these magical objects reinforces the idea that the glass slipper is not merely a fashion piece but a symbol loaded with meaning. It belongs to a tradition of artifacts that offer both hope and risk, becoming a central piece in stories where magic is never entirely free. Had the prince not found Cinderella, the ending of her story could have taken a dark turn. The glass slipper, seen by many as the key to her happiness, could have turned out to be a true curse. One possibility is that Cinderella would be consumed by the magic itself. In older fairy tales, broken spells or unmet magical contracts often result in fatal consequences. Thus, without being claimed by the prince, Cinderella could have disappeared from the world, her existence dissolving like the other enchanted items that vanished at midnight. Another intriguing theory suggests the glass slipper might have completely crystallized her, transforming her into a statue, an eternal reminder of her transgression or her attempt to escape her destiny. In this scenario, the shoe would be more of a curse than a blessing, symbolizing how magic is unforgiving and demands absolute obedience. Finally, Cinderella might have been condemned to live in a limbo between the magical and the real world, existing only as a reflection of her own life, never achieving the love or freedom she was promised. This interpretation adds a tragic tone to the tale, emphasizing how magic, in the world of fables, always comes with a price. The theory that the glass slipper in Cinderella could be a deadly trap, though intriguing, faces some significant objections. First, the very figure of the fairy godmother is a central point. In nearly all versions of the story, she is portrayed as a completely benevolent character who acts only to help Cinderella escape her life of oppression. There are no direct indications that her magic has a hidden cost or dark intentions, making it unlikely that the shoe was designed to imprison or condemn the protagonist. Moreover, the shoe is often seen as a symbol of identity and love rather than a dangerous object of power. Its persistence after the spell ends seems to have a clear narrative function. It is the key that allows the prince to reunite with Cinderella and recognize her true essence. In this sense, the shoe is a positive link that connects the two and helps resolve the story without needing to carry threatening connotations. Another point that weakens the theory is the absence of immediate consequences for Cinderella. After the spell fades at midnight, she simply returns to her normal life, with no signs that she is in danger or that something terrible will happen if the prince does not find her. If the shoe were truly a magical trap, it would be expected that there would be punishment or a clear sign that Cinderella was at risk. It is also worth considering the various traditional versions of the story. In adaptations such as Charles Perrault's, the plot is constructed to reward Cinderella's kindness and punish her stepmother and stepsisters. There is no mention of severe magical consequences or a mortal test associated with the shoe. On the contrary, the focus is on how magic positively transforms the protagonist's life. Finally, the simplicity of the fairy tale genre is also a factor against the theory. Classic fairy tales generally follow clear archetypes. Heroes are rewarded, villains are punished, and the stories have a moralizing tone that rarely includes such dark nuances. The idea of the shoe being a deadly tool deviates from this logic, especially in the popularized versions. Although the theory offers a fascinating perspective and adds layers to the tale, the lack of clear support in the narrative and the classic genre weakens the idea. Still, this type of interpretation enriches the discussion and shows how stories can be reimagined through different lenses. Enjoyed this intriguing theory about Cinderella? Then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to explore more mysteries and curiosities about your favorite movies and series. Your participation helps keep the magic alive. Shall we dive into more stories together? Click on the video appearing on the screen.